Listeners, viewers, welcome back. It is us, Dragon's Greed Gaming, and you are joining us for our seventh and final episode of Tale of Five Gamers for Warhammer 40,000 10th edition. This is it. It is the finish line. It is month 6. We have our final check-in here, and we got a lot of cool shit to show you guys today. So there is no need to wait, so we'll just jump right in. As of recording, it is New Year's Eve tonight, so we are in the countdown here. I got a bunch of shit planned you probably heard about, but that's why we're gonna get through this and then go play games all day. So, fellas, how's everybody doing? Welcome back. Everybody have a good holiday.
Doing very good.
Yeah, good to be back.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Survived Christmas.
Listeners, you'll see some photos as we talk. The four of us that are here in Illinois, we were able to go to our local gaming store, Titan Games, yesterday as planned. We gathered all the stuff that we had painted and showed it off, got a group picture or 7, and then Brian and I played some Combat Patrols. Brian's first game of 40K, right, for 10th edition?
Oh yeah, and I was thinking about it. I think I skipped 9th edition entirely. So
I did too. I didn't actually play any games, even though I have the books.
First 40K I've played in at least 4 or 5 years, probably 5 at least.
Yeah, and Brian did not have his usual stroke of luck. He annihilated me. So the green tide swept in, and there was no stopping it.
You might not know this, but orcs is the best.
They were yesterday. My crowning achievement was killing the war boss with zombies and bringing him back as a zombie. That was about the highlight of my fun. So, and then Ernie and Eddie played a game yesterday as well. So we had some 40K action. Anyway, let's dive right in here. So tell the listeners what you finished this last month, and then just talk a bit about everything you finished. And I've got the point values here in the chat that we actually ended up with. So a pretty nice spread of point values here. So we will start it off with High Fleet Bubblegum Lollipop Candy Cane.
No, that's not what it's called. All right. It's High Fleet Slushy.
Oh, High Fleet Slushy. My mistakes.
Yeah, it's the blue raspberry slushy. All right. Get it straight.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, man. So this was overall just an awesome experience for me. I got the entire Leviathan box done. The models look amazing, like just the sculpts. I mean, looked amazing. They were a lot of fun to paint. It was really cool getting off of Space Marines. I've literally been painting Space Marines for like 20 years. I think this is the first time I painted more than like one model that wasn't a Space Marine. So that was really cool. I got to use a whole new paint scheme, like we were talking yesterday. Like I've always wanted to use those bright tufts, the red and green, like bright tufts. I've always wanted to use those, but they never really fit in my scheme. And like I said, the bright colors, like that's not really like Space Marine style. So I thought it was just a perfect chance to like really change up what I've been doing painting, and it's given me a lot of motivation to keep going. I did sneak in a few Space Marine things in there, and I'm actually really looking forward to going back and like knocking out the last of my 2,000 point army so I can get my 10 points next time I play a game. And yeah, man, it was just awesome. I'm really hyped. This was a great experience.
What did you was there anything that you got done this month, or was everything done last month?
Yeah, I had everything done last month. I was gonna try and get some gargoyles and a neuro dog thing painted, neurolictor painted, but I was just been so busy. My personal life, I just had no time. I actually just got my hobby bench set up last night, sort of, for the first time in like a month.
Oh, okay, cool. So, well, that's okay because you've been cranking, and I mean, you painted an army in like a week, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I went ham last month to make up for it. I knew this was coming.
Yeah, well, that's all right. You deserve a break. So, in the end, because not all your Space Marine stuff is here in the picture. So, what is the list of everything you finished for this challenge over the 6 months?
Okay, so we have the entire Leviathan box, which let me think is the Screamer Killer, Psycho Phage, the Tentacle Face Bug, 2 squads of Gaunts, a squad of Neuro Gaunts,
Arb Gaunts?
Shooty-Gaunts, 2 squads of Shooty-Gaunts.
Mm-hmm.
The Termagants, 1 squad of Neurogaunts, which is the brain gaunts that go with the Neuro Tyrant.
Yep.
A squad of the Von Ryan's Leapers.
There's a squad of Barb Gaunts, right?
Oh yeah, the Barbagons too. Yeah, those things are awesome. Those are probably one of my favorite models. I think the sculpts are amazing. They look great, and they're actually pretty strong in game. And yeah, then I did.
There's also a Tyranid Prime, and it looks like some Ripper Swarms.
Oh yeah, the winged Prime, two Ripper Swarms.
Okay.
I got out the pictures, and then I did a Land Raider, the OG pattern Land Raider, the original one that I had since way back when, and I started off with a squad of Desolators, which immediately got nerfed into oblivion and are now just in the case, never to return.
Good.
They deserve it.
They didn't even get one game. I didn't even get to use them for one game where they were painted because they like immediately got nerf hammered into the ground.
Yeah.
Like the day I finished painting them.
Don't chase the meta, bro. Let the meta chase you.
Now you sound like Ernie.
It's the truth. Well, what'd you say that one time, Brian? If you sit still long enough, the meta eventually circles back to you.
Right, like the inertia
That's
approach
true.
to hobbying.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going to build my stuff, and eventually the hobby will find me where I need.
200 peasants might not be great 20 years ago, but 200 peasants with bows now.
Yeah. I have several boxes of waiting for the meta units. Just
Yep.
like those
Yeah,
fire
strike
servo.
servo.
Cool.
One day that'll be good.
So Eddie's total points between his Nids and his Space Wolves came out to 820 points of Nids, and then we've got what is it here?
460 of Space Marines.
Yeah, so someone can do that math because I can't. So over 1,000 points. Yeah, that's nice, man. Well done indeed. So how's it feel? How's it feel to have all that stuff painted?
It feels great, man. Like I said, getting it all on the table yesterday when we were all taking pictures and all 4 of us had our stuff laid out. It was just so cool seeing like that many painted. I haven't seen that many painted models on the table together since I went to Adepticon. That's the only place I see that many painted models together. I'm always at my friend's house, and these nerds never ever paint anything, and it's just like the battle of gray.
Yeah.
It's always like the tide of gray, and like my stuff's like has some blue on it, you know.
Cool.
It's nice having it all done now. That's what I said. I'm really motivated. I have probably, I don't know, 8 models left in my 2,000 point army I need to paint. And then I'll have that all painted. I'll be able to get my 10 points next time I play.
Awesome. Cool, man. Well done. It looks great. Looking forward to fighting more bugs. And yeah, good job, man.
Thanks.
Eric, unfortunately, living in Texas, wasn't able to join us yesterday, but as you can see, looks like he got some work done. The Red Angel himself has shown up to the party. So, what'd you get all done this last month?
So this last month, I really had to push it because I was a little behind. But I got the Invocatus, the Lord on the Juggernaut, the Berserkers, and the Red Angel completed. The Lord Invocatus was probably the closest to being finished last month. So I had a little bit more detailing and the final wash and the basing to finish on him. The Berserkers had a lot more detailing to do. I kind of rushed a little bit through them so that I could focus on Angron a little bit more. I tried a lot of newer paints with him. So I went with some more of the Pro Acryl line.
Okay.
Like the coal black, which ended up being this like kind of like a smooth matte black that you can kind of see on some of his armor panels.
Yep.
To kind of break up some of the brass. The axe metal and all the silver is from the Pro Acryl, and then so is the his chain axe uses the brass from that new line as well. And the wash I used their black wash instead of like a Nuln oil because I wanted to give that a shot. It's also a little bit different from the rest of the stuff I painted this challenge because I used Agrax Earthshade, I think, on the rest of them. But I wanted something a little darker for Angron to kind of bring out the his details a little bit more. I still want to go back eventually and highlight everything because I didn't really get a chance to kind of go back after the wash to kind of pull everything back out. So I'll probably still go back into there. I used the I think it's like a crimson gloss to kind of go over the purple of his sword. And I kind of really like how that turned out. Other than, like I said, I'll probably do some more highlighting coming up.
Was the Forge World piece finished last month? I remember you working on it.
So he was mostly finished in the first month or two, I believe. I think what I did last month is I finished doing the base, I want to say.
Okay. How did you attach it to the base? Because that looks pretty precarious. There's not much surface.
It was, and when I carried him out to the garage, he was on his base, and then when I went to move him after I finished pictures, he immediately came off. So I'll have to figure out a different way to attach him to the base because it's just these like spindly like claw toes that do not glue very well.
Yeah, I had the same problem with the Defiler, which you guys will see shortly.
Yeah, so I have two more of those I need to work on.
Cool.
But all in all, I was really excited for this challenge just to kind of get the new World Eater stuff.
Sorry,
models.
My cat is
the new World Eater models just look incredible, and I was really excited to kind of get some dedicated World Eater stuff beyond the Berserkers, and the new kits just look great. They're not very like customizable. It seems like they very like piece together one way.
That's how they've been doing a lot of new stuff.
Yeah,
which kind of sucks,
but I've actually taken a lot of the bits over to my 30k army, and I might do another box of Berserkers in the white and blue scheme with some like weapon changes and some converting.
Okay.
But
cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see if we get some more World Eater models in the future.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Like, where's the fucking Terminators, right?
Yes.
So, cool, man. Well, Eric clocked in at 1,050 points. Granted, that is with like a 500-point Demon Primarch, but it is 1,000 at least. And, well, if you play World Eaters, you got to have Angron at some point. So, nicely done. Are you going to do any more with the bases, or do you leave them the way they are?
So I usually try and add some more stuff like rock or armor pieces on the ground, like a little bit more like the Slaughterer has.
Mm-hmm.
So I dug out some extra rhino hatches and doors and stuff that I have left over that I'm going to break up and stick on the bases. And then I do like shoulder pads with like I use the pin vise to put some like bolter holes in them and stuff.
Cool.
So I'll probably add those to the bases coming up.
No skulls for the skull throne?
So actually my old Berserker squads, because they didn't have an icon bearer, I used to use skulls on the bases of the icon bearer to symbolize which one was the icon.
Okay.
So now that there's actually an icon for one of the members, I'll probably go and add some more skulls throughout.
Are icon bearers a character in this edition?
I don't.
Or are they a squad upgrade? Because in Death Guard, they are a character model that you attach to a unit.
Oh, it's a squad upgrade.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I much prefer that because, yeah. All right. Well, how's it feel?
Great. I can't wait to keep going with them.
Cool. What's next to add to the army? If anything?
So I have the rest of the Forge World Demon engines that I started working on. So I have that Brass Scorpion, the Catan,
Oh yeah.
and then
Okay.
2 more of those Slaughterers.
Cool.
So
I definitely want to see that Brass Scorpion when it's done. That's a cool model.
yeah, it's a pain in
Awesome.
the ass to build, but
Well, congratulations. You've got a Demon Primarch you didn't have 6 months ago. So
exactly.
that's awesome. Cool. All right, we will move it on over to the Loyalist side. Ernie, how are you?
Doing good, man.
Talk to us. What you got?
Yeah. So for this check-in, I was focused completely on a Dreadnought. I did the Ballistus Dreadnought from the Leviathan box, and it took me less time to do this Dreadnought than the other vehicles, and it came out better in my opinion. So, the system works, as they say. It's been, like I said, at this point I've kind of ironed out all the little hiccups I've had with painting vehicles, which is awesome because I didn't have any painted vehicles before this whole thing started. So now to be able to add 3 of them that I use pretty often is pretty awesome. But yeah, it's like the whole process went way faster this time around because I had identified all the problems that usually get me, like painting the silver takes longer, so I did that with an airbrush, and then I went backwards and I did the black instead of the other way around, which is how I did it the first 2 times. And then, like I said, between the highlights and picking out the details, like with what like accent colors, like I had that all ironed out. So the Dreadnought only took me a couple days to do that, which I'm super happy with.
So
and,
one might say learning has occurred.
Yeah, learning definitely occurred. My overall points total after everything. So for the whole project, I got a squad of 10 Infernus Marines done, a squad of 5 Assault Intercessors, a Impulsor, a Repulsor Executioner, a Ballistus Dreadnought. I think that's everything off the top of my head. But the whole thing only came out to, I think, 690 as you added up for me, which was a little bit disappointing because I felt like it was way more, and then I like added it all up with you. I'm like, oh no, that's about 300 points short. So I could have added another squad of something in there, probably another vehicle. Like I said, I have another Dreadnought that's waiting to go, so that'd be another easy couple hundred to add on to that. So I'll probably continue on with this the same project and the little post.
Is it a Redemptor Dreadnought?
Yeah, is the Redemptor.
Okay, cool.
And then I have another Redemptor coming after that. So I also have a gladiator of all the variants, just the gladiator box. Coming if GW ever decides like maybe they want to like make more of those, they'll send it to me. But it's been on back order for like 2 months now. So when I get that, it's another vehicle. But like I said, at this point, I've kind of got the whole process ironed out. I can just crank out vehicles now. I can be like an actual AdMech factory. It's great. Call me Forge World,
Well, that's I think that makes up for maybe not having as many points as you were hoping, because now you can crank them out.
Yeah, so. It's like I said, it's extra cool because as I was telling you yesterday, the majority of my painted stuff was like just basic line infantry, right? I have like 40 or 50 basic intercessor type Marines all painted and ready to go. It's always been like the other big pieces of the army that I never did, like the vehicles. So now it's like no matter what kind of style army I play, I can actually have like a pretty much fully like painted army on the table, with the exception of like 1 or 2 random things that I need to do for whatever list I'm running. So
and now you get to paint all the fun stuff. So
yeah,
that's cool. Awesome. Well, it looks great, man. The vehicles they match totally. It's obvious they belong to the same army. It might be hard to see in the pictures here, folks, but on close inspection, particularly on the Impulsor, those transfers, very hard to tell that they're a transfer. I mean, other than that they're like perfectly shaped, but they blend into the side panels perfectly. You can't tell, especially the cross on the side hatch. So looks really good, man. So excited. I'm happy that you got back into it a little bit. So what else do you have other than the tank and I know you got Gilliman who's halfway painted.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to touch on the Gilliman. for this project. But yeah, I mean, as far as like unpainted stuff, I have an infinite like laundry list of things. I'm looking at my to-do pile here. I got,
Okay.
I mean, I have so many like unbuilt stuff too. I have just in the last couple months, like during this project, I have another box of 3 Inceptors, another box of 3 Aggressors, which rounds out both of those units to 6 for me.
Okay. Okay.
I got a box of unbuilt Hellblasters. I got, as I was joking, the Primaris Fire Strike servo turrets, which are well, they're not getting built anytime soon, but assuming the rules get changed, I do have them on standby in case I need them. So I got a whole bunch of stuff, except the other Redemptor Dreadnought. Yeah, I have plenty to do in the future. So
Okay. Are the turrets really that bad?
they're I know overpriced for what they do. They're like the combination of like they don't really have a good function in the army, and then they're also like you pay out the nose points wise for them. So
Okay.
they're not terrible. There's like 1 or 2 lists you could maybe run them as, but it always just turns into the why don't you just take XYZ,
Sure.
which is unfortunate, but
Yeah.
because they have the big caveat with them is like they're vehicles, but like they're not vehicles. Like they're vehicles in that they have the vehicle rules, so you have all the negatives of vehicle, but they have like none of the mobility, and they don't really interact with a lot of the other like cool vehicle rules that are in the game. So
Well, they could shoot while they're in close combat for their
that is true, but they'll
stationary
probably
defensive structures.
I was like, they're not as tough as vehicles, so if they get in close combat, they'll probably just melt.
That's too bad. Okay. Well, how's it feel, man? You got a chunk of stuff that wasn't painted 6 months ago.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't quite make the 1,000. I think I'm the only one here that didn't quite cross the finish line at that. But it feels really good to be able to add 3 vehicles, especially 2 of which, the Ballistus and the Impulsor, that I'm probably going to use in almost all games. So like they're going to see a lot of table time. Their Executioner is a little more specialized in like what list I would put it in, but those 2 it's going to be nice to be able to like always use those, at least in this edition, because they're pretty much going to be in every list I run. So
yeah, they're solid choices for sure. Cool, man. Well, happy to have you along for the ride.
Yeah, like I said, the actual experience was a lot of fun. So no complaints there. If you did another one, I would raise my hand and ask to be picked. So
okay, well, we will keep that in mind. And then we're going to look to the top of the mountain in the Ivory Citadel. Brian, once again, showing his madness at painting skills. You got a lot to tell us about here, man. How's it going?
It's going good. Yeah. Yes, kind of just typical of me that when the inspiration hits, it all comes together quick. I slogged away for like 3 months on those nights and the armigers, and which is, I mean, they're big models. They need a lot of attention, but I was kind of feeling like, my initial idea was I was going to do something Mechanicus, and I just was never feeling it. I was never really in the groove. And then, I was thinking about the Titanicus stuff and how it's set in 30K, and I had this box of 30K. And so I just started hammering into it, and it came quick. I mean, the Iron Warriors are pretty straightforward paint scheme. Obviously, there's a lot of fiddly stuff with those stripes, but as long as I didn't let myself get too bogged down in those details, it all came pretty quick. So in the last month, I've finished painting the 2 squads of infantry. I've finished the other champion that came in that box, 5 infantry with heavy bolters, and a dreadnought, and then I also finished the tanks as well. I was kind of had progress on them, I believe, last month, but I hadn't gotten too far into it. So it was a lot done in a month, obviously. And I still have, if that box comes, I still have like 15 more infantry. So now I got to do that thing because I just let my inspiration go and just did whatever I felt like doing. Now I got to go back and actually like look at what of this like actually applies where? Like, I don't think you can run at least not in 30K. I don't think you can run a squad of 5 heavy bolters. So,
Yes, you can.
so I think I got to go back and make 5 more heavy bolters.
I was
You
gonna
can
say,
run
yeah,
5.
yeah. I was gonna say,
Minimum squad is 5 of heavy support squad.
Oh, it is for in 30K as well.
You
Oh,
can't
that-
run the 5 assault marines though.
Okay. So then I'll go back and run 5. Yeah, I got to make 5 new assault marines or something. I knew there was like, those kind of details I got to kind of get to, start to figure that out. There's 5 more Terminators in that box I haven't done. I thought maybe I'd do those and try and do some conversions or something like that. But I'm thrilled, obviously. Got a lot of stuff done pretty quickly. It looks great as long as you don't look too closely. Obviously the one of the things about these photos, it keeps showing me like things that are kind of screwed up, that I should have done better. But
I don't think so. I mean, I think we all feel that way when you look at something up close. But
up
again,
close, yeah.
tabletop. I mean, it looks, even these pictures up close, like to me they just look rough. They don't look unfinished. They just look rough.
Right.
So
yeah, and I mean that's the thing. There's always like little, things that I'll probably tidy up as I go along, or whatever. But I've got an army. So I think I mentioned back in the day, like 20 years ago, I used to play against a guy named Chris. Actually, we called him the Ref Pittman. And he only ever played Iron Warriors, and I always loved his army. Like I always was looking at like, man, that's so awesome. That's so cool. And this is a danger with me anyway, too, because like yesterday I was looking at Eddie's Tyranids, and I was like, man, and you start telling me about what they do, and I'm like, oh, that would be awesome if I just got an army like that, but obviously I got to stick in this lane for a little while yet. And, like I said, I really dig it. And for 20 years, I've been thinking like, wouldn't it be cool to have an Iron Warriors army? And here it is, and I tried to tie it in a little bit with the Knights through some of the striping, and I don't know, I'll create a story as why they belong together. Who knows? But
sure. Well, do you remember the Iron Warriors army at Ranhurst that was in the case?
Vaguely, yeah. Talk about 20 years ago, right?
That was 3rd edition, back when Iron Warriors could take basilisks from the Imperial Guard Codex.
Right.
There was a demon. There was the old metal demon prince. Was the HQ, and they were kind of a brighter silver. But someone went to the trouble with all the hazard stripes, and that was always cool. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to playing against this army in an actual game now that we actually played. So
well, I have to say, that game yesterday kind of got that going for me as well. I mean, it's been so long since I actually played a game properly of 40K, and playing yesterday, I was like, this is, and it wasn't just because I had some kind of miraculous rolling with my saves. Totally uncharacteristic. I mean, usually I'm the guy that's like, 7 1s, how about that? That's amazing, but yeah, just playing yesterday, like, really got me into it again. I really enjoyed the game.
Yeah, it was like watching you get back on the bike. It's like there wasn't, not much has really changed. Like
yeah.
So
I just had to learn some of the procedures and some of the the new way things are set up. But yeah, and if we were going to play Combat Patrol again too, I would kind of tidy up those lists, because they were a little bit. I know they're trying to do one part marketing, one part like here's what's in the box type of thing. But I think it would be worth kind of home.
Yeah, no orc player runs a squad mixed with shooters and sluggers. No one in the history of the game has ever done that. No one ever will, because it was fucking awful. So,
and it just gives you, it's just bookkeeping for no good reason, really.
I know, like we played Combat Patrol, and all of a sudden Brian's got like 7 pages of paper like all over the table, looking around like, what? Where's that? Like, come on, GW, just get it straightened a little bit.
Yeah, just give me shooters or whatever. Yeah,
right. Yeah. So cool, man. Well, what's any plans to add on to this at all?
Yeah, so like I said, I think I'm gonna like tidy up some of that stuff. Obviously I gotta do 5 more assault dudes. And I don't know, are they their own kit, or are they just an upgrade kit? I hope it's just an upgrade kit, because I love to put it. What is it?
I got bad news for you then.
Yeah, bad news.
Yeah, no. that's a new kit they just released with the
All
Mark
right, well,
6.
looks like I'm
But
getting a new kit. Yeah,
I can hook you up with the 30K info.
I appreciate it. Yeah, so I'll be doing some of that to kind of tidy things up. I really love the way these tanks look. So if I added anything other than that, that's not infantry. I mean, I might throw another one of those big siege tanks or something. That seems very Iron Warriors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I'm kind of sad to see this go. I'm kind of sad to see this finish actually, because it's been great inspiration to get a lot of stuff done that I wouldn't have otherwise.
It's been a year of back-to-back painting for you, myself, and Eric. So,
yeah.
I mean,
And I'm ready. Like, I've got the when the Bretonians come out, I got some good stuff, and obviously I haven't yet to get a game of 30K in, so I got to do that too. So
cool.
I'm definitely feeling the inspiration for sure.
Awesome. Well, glorious as always. Very exciting. Army looks great. Can't wait to fight it. So well done.
Thank you.
Cool. And I will finish it off this month. It's finally done. The Defiler, after all the hype, is finally built and painted. I also managed to squeeze the Lord of Virulence in there. I had a little bit of free time at work one week, so I squeezed him in, just getting like a color or two done during my lunch breaks, which was a nice change to take a break from building the Defiler, because it, as I said, it took about a week or two just to clean it, take it apart, and rebuild it. There was so much glue on the joints of the legs to the body. I mean, I think I sent you guys a picture. I had like a pile of dried glue by the time I was done cleaning those ball joints. And there was so much glue that by the time I filed everything off, the ball joints, the balls were now way too small. They didn't actually fit in the joint. It was like this rather than that. So I had to pin all the arms back on, and a bunch of the socket pieces like snapped off. So instead of this, it was like this, like half a circle. So I had to pin that little piece on too. Mostly that was on the underside, so you can't even see the issues. And then it took about a week when I was on vacation. I spent about a week every day just converting this thing, and I just could not stop. It was like every time I put another piece on, I was like, oh yeah, it's finally coming together. So I just kept going and going. And then I had to get it posed on the base. I painted the base separately with all the little details. And then once I had this thing painted, it took like 45 minutes just to put the wash on this whole model. What a pain in the ass. But I just did like a step every day, and I got it painted in about a week. And then getting it attached to the base was not fun. I pinned 2 or 3 of the legs in the back, but one of the pins just ripped out because they were all at weird angles. But otherwise, yeah, it was like Eric's Forge World guy. He's like little tippy toes on his base. But I also have the claw and the steps glued, so that was a good support point. So it's a little fragile, but I think it looks way better than a Defiler running around without a base. That always bothered me, especially with old bikes back in the day before bikes had bases. It always seemed weird to have units in an army that has bases without them. So super stoked. Can't wait to run it. No spoilers, Ernie. He will be in the next game, regardless of what points we play. Just because I have to try
500
it.
points. Yep, bring it.
Yep. Him and the Lord of Virulence. That's the army. So, but yeah, overall, we've got mostly characters. I've got Lord of Virulence. That's the Terminator guy with the big flamethrower. Then we've got the Foul Blightspawn, the grenade character. We've got a Lord in Terminator armor, a Sorcerer Lord in Terminator armor. We've got 8 Terminators, so it's a regular 5-man box, then the 3 from the Felthius cohort, and then the 2 Chaos Spawn and the Defiler, which came out to 810 points. So not the 1,000 I was hoping for. I didn't quite cross the finish line, so I'm right there with you, Ernie. But we did have a points drop when the FAQ came out, which was right after we started this, and this would have probably been about 1,000 points. Also, I didn't get to do Mortarion, but at this point, he's the only Death Guard model I do not currently own, so he will probably eventually happen. I'm hoping this year. but we're going to do some converting on him too to give him a two-handed scythe rather than two different weapons. So that's my goal for this army, and then we're probably going to switch it over to Old World and some fantasy stuff. And I've been working on some Zombicide stuff for our gaming nights, trying to get some Zenithal highlighting done. So, but all my Death Guard stuff is painted once again, so I don't have any backlog there. And the only backlog of 40k I have is a Hellhound tank for my Imperial Guard Armored Company, which I'm not going to touch that until their rules come out and see what I want to equip it with. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased too. I mean, it's a little short of the goal, but you know, again, 800 points of shit I didn't have painted, so very excited. And you'll see throughout the episode, listeners, we've got pictures of the four of us at Titan Games. So yeah, obviously you know who we are, but Brian on the left, then we got Eddie in the Neff shirt, not sure what the fuck that means. Then we've got Ernie in his Blackhawk shirt, and I'm on the far right there. So that's us with all of our painted stuff, and Eric is there. Maybe I'll Photoshop Eric into one of these pictures. That would be great.
Yeah.
With Angron floating around. So thank you, gentlemen. It's been a blast. Thank you so much for joining us on this little journey. I hope you've all had fun and have some inspiration. And listeners, I hope you all have some inspiration too. Just put your nose to the grindstone a little bit. Even an hour painting a day, you'll be surprised, whether it's one model or 2,600 points. Yeah, Brian, I think clocked that at was it 2,600 ish,
something like that. So I'm happy to share my points with everybody. Like, Ernie, you can have 300. Chris, 2.
Yeah, just give me an armiger and I'm set. There we go, 1,000 points. So awesome. Well done, fellas. We got less than a minute here, so we are going to sign off. But thank you all so much. Listeners, have a wonderful new year, and we will see you in 2024 with all sorts of cool shit coming up. So we will see you on the flip side. Same time, same place. Nighty night. Hello, listeners. Great Unclean One here. I just wanted to thank you for taking your time to watch this video. For more content like this, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons? And if you're a fan of role-playing games, then be sure to check out one of our actual play series. We've got campaigns of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, Alien the role-playing game, and Warhammer 40,000 Wrath and Glory, with plenty more to come. Finally, a huge thank you to all of our Patreon members. Your support means the world to us, and you help push the channel to even greater heights. We simply could not do this without all of you. And if you'd like to help support the channel yourself, even more than a like or subscribe, consider joining our Patreon and get yourself some cool rewards. Link in the description below. Thanks again, and we will see you in the next one. Same time, same place. Nighty night.